If you're staying in Abuja, I guess you woke up today experiencing some level of heat that has been happening for some days now. But that was not the story. If you recall, some weeks back, your experience in Abuja might be different from those staying in other parts of the country. Yes, the weather pattern is quite unpredictable. Now, this change in weather pattern comes with different health challenges. What are the common ailments at this time and the measures to be taken in order to stay healthy? That will be our focus today on Panorama. And we have a public health expert, Dr. Isaac Abuja, to take us through this health journey. Welcome to Panorama. I'm Ruth Aguele. Nigeria's economy is set to witness a turnaround as President Bola Tinubu has set up a tripartite economic advisory committee, which includes the federal government, sub-nationals and private sector. This was a major outcome of a crucial meeting between the president and selected members of the organized private sector. State House correspondent Musbahu Danwahab reports.
Times are hard, and there are hues and cries in town. And inasmuch as the man in front targets the good of all and a greater Nigeria, these issues cannot wait, even on a Sunday. Desperate measures are playing out for the desperate moments as the captain of Team Nigeria gets on a round table with captains of industries. The present issues notwithstanding, the banter was warm, as the president himself was from this constituency. And then, the meeting entered its crucial mode behind closed doors. And after about 3 hours, it was a new hope, yet again.
To bring life back to the economy.
President Bola Tinubu pointed towards the light at the end of a current path through the tunnel, assuring Nigerians, including the downtrodden, of an imminent economic recovery capable of transforming the nation for better.
We are looking for additional efforts that might help the downtrodden Nigerians, and we will provide that hope and the assurance that the economic recovery is on its way. We are not saying that we have all the answers, but we will not be blamed for not to try. We assure Nigerians that we will do our best to get our Marshall Plan in place and fashion out the best economic future for this country.
To achieve this greater prosperity for the country and its people, the president set up a tripartite economic advisory committee to create an interface among the federal, sub-nationals and the organized private sector.
No, I think we had a very, very good meeting, and what we discussed is generally about the economy, food security, security of the nation. We discussed everything in detail.
And we have all the potentials, and we have all that it takes to make Nigeria, get right through these turbulent times and put the economy back on a sustainable keel. I think there is a unity of purpose, a determination, the sense of patriotism and determination by all to make it happen. And by the special grace of God, it's now the execution.
Foreign exchange rate, which we know has always been the problem, for the past 2 or 3 months, we have discussed on how to, bring the foreign exchange, the rate down, because we all know that what is happening in, as regards the foreign exchange is artificial, is manipulative, and thank God, the CBN, is doing quite a lot now.
I leave this meeting with a lot of enthusiasm, excitement and optimism about the future of our country. I believe that implementing the decisions we arrived at today will help propel our economy and help alleviate the poverty in the land, help create employment and help put food on the table.
All governors have resolved to join hands with Mr. President to ensure that you provide the necessary intervention to cushion the effect of what we are going through.
Manufacturers are looking forward to an environment that is conducive for business, and so the issues surrounding foreign exchange, insecurity, and general operating environment were discussed. And we received the assurances of Mr. President that very soon we are going to start to see some major changes. And I think the advisory committee that will be formed, the private sector will play a very significant role.
The committee is to appraise economic trends regularly and advise the President accordingly. From the State House, Musbal Dan Wahab, NTA News.
The Defense Headquarters says a misleading online media publication alleging that the Guards Brigade has been put on alert following unusual movements leading to suspicion of a coup plot in Nigeria. In a statement by the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau notes that Guards Brigade has been statutorily assigned the responsibility of protecting the seat of power, that is the presidency, and by extension the Federal Capital Territory and its environs, adding that the Guards Brigade has always been on high alert in order to effectively execute its assigned task. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, in various fora, reiterated the unalloyed commitment of members of the Armed Forces of Nigeria to the protection and sustenance of democracy in Nigeria. Therefore, the Defense Headquarters strongly condemns this unsubstantiated assertion and enjoins members of the public to disregard it. The Defense Headquarters also urges relevant security agencies to take appropriate action against the medium for this unpatriotic action, while the Defense Headquarters seeks legal redress on the issue, which has the ulterior motive of creating unnecessary tension in the country. As part of efforts to safeguard the nation's wealth through the maritime environment, Nigerian Navy personnel have arrested a vessel suspected to be conveying 30,000 liters of crude oil during NNS Ekulu ship on board surveillance patrol. Oba Isant reports that the commander, NNS Victory Commodore Rotimi Oderemi, made this known to newsmen while parading the suspects in Ibaka axis of Cross River Akwa Ibom waterways.
Illegal activities such as bunkering and oil thefts are among the many saboteurs stiffening the country's economy. The Nigerian Navy says it is determined and committed to rid the nation's maritime environment of such trend. This is evidence in this feat recorded by the Nigerian Navy, as Commodore Rotimi Oderemi says NNS Ekulu's swift response led to the arrest of the suspect, confiscated their equipment and seized the stolen products.
Following credible intelligence and in collaboration with Falcon Eye Eastern Naval Command Center, a suspicious vessel was noted within our waters. Consequently, Nigerian Navy ship Ekulu, while on patrol, was vectored to interrogate and interdict the suspected vessel. On noticing Nigerian Navy ship Ekulu, the vessel proceeded towards the international waters between Nigeria and Cameroon. Consequently, Nigerian Navy ship Ekulu ensured hot pursuit. Thank God, because of the collaboration we have with other navies, the Cameroonian Navy came to support our operation. The vessel was thereafter arrested and brought here.
The leader of the suspect narrated his ordeal.
I was using this my boat to carry cubic, but the business was not favoring me. So I went to inside sea after buying that platform. That was where I carried this black oil to go back to my fire camp. From there, Navy arrested me to this thing.
Waiting there inside the boat.
It's crude oil.
The commandant is therefore cautioning perpetrators of criminal acts such as these, especially around and along the waterways, to stay clear or be ready to face the wrath of the law. In Calabar, Oba Hyacinth, NTA News.
Well, let's look at the changing weather conditions. Residents of Lokoja are grappling with prolonged harmattan conditions and weather-related health issues. A situation experts attribute to climate change. Jonathan Omojali examines the shifting weather patterns.
Extreme weather conditions are a major concern in Lokoja. While the rainy season poses a threat of flooding, the harmattan is also fraught with inclement weather conditions. Prolonged harmattan is one of the changes in the weather pattern.
The weather, to me, I like the way the weather is, because Lokoja condition is not waiting somebody who stay and say we will enjoy in the heat time.
During the period leading up to the rainy season, between mid-February and April, Lokoja is expected to experience extreme heat conditions.
There is an organism that usually thrives very well during that period, and it comes along with the dust. That is the cerebrospinal meningitis.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, had earlier predicted dust haze across the country. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
All right, we want to expand the discourse. We have Dr. Isaac Abuja. He's a public health expert. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us on Panorama.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. How are you coping with the changing weather pattern?
Well, I'm doing very well as a person, but the dramatic change in our weather comes with, which is as a result of climate change, comes with a lot of health challenges for a lot of people.
All right, and if we want to look at the changing weather pattern, there are a lot of ailments like you just mentioned. Can you break that down for us, especially for persons who are not aware of what to do and what not to do at this time?
Well, there are many people who are coming down with fever, with sore throat, with heat rashes, with dehydration, with allergies to a lot of things, especially pollen and dust. And this is not unexpected, because when dust and pollen move from one place to the other, they carry organisms, and these organisms are the causes of infection, especially respiratory infections and upper respiratory infection in particular.
Okay, and I'm sure you've observed that there's also heat in the mix of this, which experts have attributed to climate change. How can persons, create a balance where the harmattan is still rearing its head and then the heat is there with its own ailments that comes around with it? What should people do? What preventive measures should people adopt to?
Well, there are many things that they can do. Let's start with diet, food. They should try to eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, fruits that contain a lot of water, like cucumber, like watermelon. Fortunately, at this time of the year, there are all kinds of fruits that people can eat. But please wash them properly. Wash them properly before you eat. And then they should also drink as much water and juice as possible. When I say drink as much water and juice as possible, I do not encourage anybody to go and drink alcohol as a solution to dehydration. As a matter of fact, when you drink alcohol, you become more dehydrated. So that's not part of it. But drink water, drink juice, any kind of fluid that is helpful, akamu. Other things that contain water are useful at this time.
You're talking about taking lots of fluid, and while people are grappling with the heat that comes in between the harmattan, because it's kind of confusing and unpredictable, some persons may want ventilation into their homes, and at the same time, when the harmattan rears its head, there's dust coming into the house. What preventive measures should people do in their homes to create that striking balance?
Well, it is not only between harmattan and rainy season. It's even within the harmattan period. You notice that early in the morning or in the night, the weather is very cold, but during the day, it can be very hot, especially the northern part of the country.
Yeah.
The first thing to do is to dress appropriately. During the day, wear light clothes, wear cotton clothes, especially inner clothes. And during the night, wear warm clothes that will prevent you from being exposed to extreme cold weather.
Okay.
That's one. Two, I already talked about diet.
Yes.
People should also stay away from that extreme temperature either during the day when it is very hot or too hot, and during the night when it is very cold. There are people who are particularly vulnerable, babies, children, the elderly people, pregnant women, lactating women, people who are already suffering from one kind of disease or another, people who have allergies, people who, like the people who have asthma, and people who are coughing as a result of tuberculosis or upper respiratory infection or whatever disease that they have, should be careful and should try to stay away from dust, from these extreme temperatures. And if you are staying in a house, in a room, make sure that there is ventilation, make sure that the windows are open, and especially at night, it is necessary for you to open the windows, but please try to keep window screens so that mosquitoes don't come and pose another health challenge to you.
Indeed, because that's another battle. All right, and you didn't talk about the environment just before we let you go. What should people avoid, especially those aspects that breed those mosquitoes?
Yes, they should keep the environment clean. People are doing a lot of bush burning, which is one of the causes of this problem that we are having. When you burn the bushes, when wind blows, there is nothing that will stop the wind. So it blows and carries the dust from one place to the other. People are cutting down all the trees that they can see in the bushes, in the forests, and this also allows dust to flow and move freely with pathogens that come with them. So people should stay away from cutting down trees, and if they must have to, those trees must be replaced, and they should also stay away from burning bushes. You recall that it is usually when you burn bushes that rodents, especially rats, move out, and then they cause other health problems like Lassa fever and so on. So we should keep our environment clean. Around your houses, clear the bushes, make sure that any stagnant water is also taken away or is covered so that mosquitoes don't go there and lay eggs that will breed other mosquitoes to come and give you malaria.
Thank you very much, Dr. Isaac Abuja, for that insight. Thank you for your time on Panorama. We do appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
The counsel of our fathers.
I will urge and advise our younger generation to use talent and brain to sort out problems, not arms.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Welcome back. The call for the restructuring of Nigerian system of governance has again been re-echoed. This time it is from the leadership of the Arewa Consultative Forum during an event organized in honor of Wazir Nduse, who is also the chairman board of trustees of the Arewa Consultative Forum. Bashir Dalhatu. Aminu Umar reports.
Arewa Consultative Forum is an umbrella body that speaks and strives to defend the interests of the people of the 19 northern states. Considering the wealth of experience of Wazir Nduse, the leadership of the forum find him worthy to be appointed as the chairman board of trustees of the forum.
This is a great honor to all of us because he's an achiever, he's a person of integrity, and our prayers to him is may Allah guide him so that he will bring a positive change to northern Nigeria.
He's endowed, but he's humble, and he is open. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, ACF at this point in time, when the Arewa is being challenged, and there are so many badagalas roaming around our life, could not get a better leadership than that of Alhaji Bashir Al-Hatu.
On the recent agitation for the restructuring of the nation's system of governance, the chairman said Northern Nigeria welcomes the idea.
we are ready to restructure. We will use restructuring this time to the benefit of Arewa and for the benefit of our own people. And we are going to come out of restructuring more strong and stronger than that we have ever been. And we are going to prove to the whole world that actually we have every reason to call for restructuring.
So my advice to the governors of northern Nigeria, 19 of them, is to get their heads together and help the people. Make sure that your policies are consistent with progress and development of the people, not personal interest.
Speakers, including the Jigawa State Governor, Emir of Kano, among other dignitaries from across the country, shower words of encomium on the new Board of Trustees chairman, describing him as humble, committed and selfless individual who is always ready to serve his people. In Kano, Amin Umar, NTA News.
The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, says he is the authentic governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the forthcoming September 21, 2024 election. At a media briefing in Abuja, the Deputy Governor also alleged a fresh plot to impeach him from office. Let's hear from Timothy Yusuf.
The Edo State Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu, said this media briefing followed his emergence as the factional candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the September 21 governorship election. Although the returning officer in the PDP governorship primary election and governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, had last Thursday announced Asue Godalo as the winner of the delegate election, having polled a total of 577 votes. However, in the parallel primary that took place at the Benin residence of the deputy governor, he disclosed that he had the authentic delegates with him, advising the party's National Working Committee to recognize him or they go to court for proof.
And that is why I'm appealing to the party to just agree with the authentic delegate. So it's not something of contestation. You cannot disenfranchise 381. And electoral law forbids exclusion. An election can be reordered because of exclusion. It's a major sin that the electoral law forbids.
On whether the Independent National Electoral Commission and the party's representatives monitored the primary election that produced him, Shaibu spoke affirmatively without going into details, emphasizing that he would speak to the issue at the appropriate time. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Well, let's bring you sports update.